What is up, people? Let's make sure everything's working. I think we're okay. So, how about some clapping? Yes. So, we've been building the Railcore. This is day 2. Didn't get a whole lot done yesterday. We only worked about 2 hours. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. We did get everything unpacked. Today, the first thing we're going to do is eat some candy. So, grab your candy. Join me if you have some. Yeah, there's still a lot of parts here, man. So, that's the plan. Railcore Day 2. We continue our fight for justice and the pursuit of amazing 3D prints. How's everyone doing? Part 2 of 21,394. We'll try to get it around that number. Barbecue chips and onion dip. Boom. Pouring down rain. Yeah, it's like, I think today is the hottest day so far. I think it's going to be like 95. It's even pretty warm down here, and it's never warm down here. The lights don't help. That says 23.1, but I think that's a little warmer than that. Okay. So, what I've learned so far, these have very strategically placed screws and nuts all along the rails. And they give you specific counts and orders to put them in. So that's what we're doing still. We're building the bottom portion. The top portion was done yesterday. It has the rails on it. So now we're finishing up the bottom. I got a bunch more screws to set in here before I can put on the other side. And then after you have those two frames done, you have 4Z extrusions. They're like 600 on this thing or something. Which, this is the one that holds the rail. So we're kind of going to be working at eye level here shortly. So that gets interesting. If you remember the FT6 build, it was like, the ceiling is like right here. So it was really close and hard to build. It shouldn't be as hard to build as that one though, because it was 700 wide. So that should be okay. 1010s or something close to that. They're 15s. So you build it all with these 15s, and then it has casing that goes all around it. And the casing will actually be like some of these printers. The casing, the plastic, will actually give it all its strength. Make it square. Yeah, that seems to be the real key with all of these printers. So anyway, let's hang out, build some stuff. You know what would really help? If I magnified this a bit so I could actually see it. You know, it's the little things that you never think of that could really help you sometimes. That's much better. Okay, so on this guy, we have a bunch of stuff in the bottom channel and in the outside channel, but nothing on the top channel. So let's do all the bottom channel stuff first. That seems to be the most irritating, because it won't set file on the table after you put all of that in. So we need 116 over here, 3 10s, -7 now. I wear contacts, actually. I've been wearing contacts for, I don't know, 20 plus years. And I am very nearsighted. Fun fact you probably didn't know. So one more 16. And then, so 1, 3, and 1. 1, 3, and 1. Yep. And then on the outside, we get 5 10s. What's everyone else doing today? I really haven't done much of anything before right now. I am testing the FlashForge printer. If you saw that stream, it's an Adventure 3. I actually talked to Mr. Joe Larson this morning a bit, because he's got a couple of these FlashForge. Mine's doing some weird stuff. I'm seeing a little bit of layer shift. And it's having problems. It's having problems doing really small detail. Like, for instance, like when you print Adelinda, you know, she's got those her legs in the front. They're pretty thin. It can't do those. It's not accurate enough. And the first thing that I would say, what's wrong with that printer, is that your jerk value or your acceleration on travel or something like that is too high, because if it's all one piece, it prints just fine. It's not, you know, the greatest print outcome in the world, but it prints just fine. But as soon as you have to go to another area and print and then come back, the accuracy is not high enough. So that would be the first thing that I would say. Well, we need to get travel down. We need to adjust jerk so it doesn't do, it's not trying, if it's a small area, it's not trying to do it instantaneously, all that good stuff. But you can't really set anything on this printer like that. It's just kind of, you can set the speed, but for travel and print moves, that really doesn't mean anything to us. We need a little more than that to be able to diagnose it fully. So that's what I asked Joe about, you know, hey, is there something that I'm missing here? Can I adjust this stuff? And it doesn't look like you can. Jose, thank you very much for the 5. That is much appreciated. I do love those little cute animal whatever thingies they are. 3 and 16. So yeah, so now I did find, so your preferred way on FlashForge is to use Flash Print, which so far I'm not a huge fan of. It works okay, but there's not very many options, you know, for us hackers and tweakers like we like to do, right? So my path was to brute force it. I did find in Flash Print where you can set voltages, or it's kind of just a number. I don't know what the number actually means, but you can increase that number. So I did increase it on the Y, thinking maybe I'm getting some missteps, even if they were really small. And then I also increased it on the extruder because I could have swore the other day when I was down here, I heard it skip a step. So, you know how it goes. I've made some adjustments. We're printing again. We'll see how we do. All in all, I kind of like the printer. I mean, it looks good. It's very, C3DN, $10. Thank you very much. That is much appreciated. Somebody. Travis Stamper, what's up? I'm doing great. Hope you're doing well. Creator X can't print PLA, but yeah, this thing, I've already tried quite a few ABS prints. It works really well. It has printed probably the best ABS benchy I've ever seen, which says something because I've seen a lot. Scott Hackmonkey's here. What's up, Scott? Pat just finished his Mark III's build. Loving it. Awesome. What's up, Happy Extruder Ron? How are you? Ron, did you put together your chameleon yet? I saw you had one on the Twitters. Use Cura, you just need to download the plugin. I also found that if you hack your way into the Start G code, you can use any slicer. I'm still testing with that. It still does some funny things, but I'll check out Cura and give it a shot. We can do that. Knitroom is here. What's up? There was a flash print update today. Okay, cool. John Strand is here. Do you have a vertical screen to full-size chat on and follow along? I am looking at a 32-inch TV, and I have it split half in between Streamlabs, and the other half is chat. So it's only about, I don't know, 6 feet away, maybe a little bit more. So I can see it pretty well. But I keep Streamlabs up because it keeps track of all of the odds and ends things that happens, subscribers and donations and all that stuff. So that's how I view it. Ricardo, hello. Thanks for joining from Brazil. Julian, did you watch the stream? Well, let me know how it goes because I have one of those to build. So that means touching Cura. I'm not the biggest Cura fan in the world. I've been with the Prusa Slicer and Slick 3R, whatever you want to call it, forever. For years and years. So I dabble in Cura, but only because people ask me questions about it on occasion. But I don't use it very often. Got 3 on top. 4 M3 nuts on the inside channel. That was bait. I'm just happy that Cura is still free. And they still put out a whole lot of updates. Inside channel 4, top 3. There are 5 10s on the outside channel. Well, Ron, honestly, I'm not sure what they're getting at here. I don't think I'll truly have a feel for what the design was all about until it goes together. I mean, you know, it never hurts to have, you know, a larger extrusion. I mean, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't turn down a 30. Let's just say that. But I think after it all goes together, we'll probably kind of have a good idea of what they were getting at. So we'll see at the end. Maybe that will be one of the things that I don't like, but at this point, I'm still optimistic. We'll see. Yeah, that's right. Okay. 16 M3 by 10. I need 3 more of these. And then 1 more 16. I think we about got it. Then another one of our square dealies. Thingamabobs. This is the year of the Railcore build. We want. Today I'm going to attempt to do as little backtracking as possible. that usually means moving forward slower. So we'll see how many patients I have. There's that. And then we can put it on. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, 2020 is... Well, I'm trying to think now. I've seen smaller extrusion than 2020 used as a rail. You know, like you have a part that slides on that rail for your Z or something like that. I don't know that I've seen anything smaller than that as a structural thing. These guys are pretty good, though. I mean, just from talking to the guys that kind of came up with this and, you know, interacting with them, I have faith in their thinking. So we'll see how it turns out. I know people seem to really like these, so... We're going to give it a try. Stig is here. What's up? Alright. So I think the bottom frame is done. Upright extrusion assemblies. This is where it gets interesting. Okay. So we have 3 super long ones. Those are the ones that the rails actually go on, I'm pretty sure. And then 4 of these for each corner. Dan is here. What's up? Buying some spare metal electronics from Prusa. Building the BLV MGN cube. A lot of people keep telling me that. It took me forever to get a Railcore. Now I'm gonna have to get one of those cubes. It's finding the time to do these builds. That's really the only thing that holds me back. Because, you know, we're gonna spend like a week on this. Mr. Robata. I like that name. Hello, how are you? 2020s can be a bit expensive. There we go. Oh, great. I have a fly friend today. Excellent, Dan. Shane is going to do one. I haven't seen Shane in a long time. Hopefully he's doing well. Corey just ordered his Railcore. Time yourself, Corey. You're gonna need like lots of Red Bull. You'll probably be done before I am. But he is back. Well, good to hear. I don't like to see people... You know, YouTube's one of those things, if you don't want to do it anymore, then don't, right? People have their reasons. But sometimes YouTube can beat you down a bit. And I don't like to see people quit, especially when they get frustrated because it doesn't always pan out how you'd like it to pan out, right? But that's good to hear that he's back. We can always use some more content. Shane is a good dude. He's a really nice guy. I've met him before. I met him at ERF 18? Does that sound? Yeah, ERF 18. Oh. The quarantine version. Oh, the 1515's out of stock. Well, that sucks. Looks really wobbly. Well, so you go take a look at what. So there's links to these kits. I think the kit that I have doesn't actually have a picture up yet. But there's the shorter one. Go take a look at the end result. I don't know if you already have experience with Railcore or not. But after it's all built, the frame and everything, you skin it with plastic. And that's kind of where the structure is going to come in. But we'll see. That's why I don't really... So, you may know this already, but I don't really need another 3D printer. The only reason for me to do these is to see if they work or not. So, I have a kind of a different goal when I do one of these things. So really the only point is to see how, is to compare it to other things and see how it goes. So that kind of takes the pressure off. Even if it doesn't work at all, it's like, it was content. But I'm sure that's not the case for this one. Yeah, Corey, I don't really... Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I believe you that there's not a lot of content out there. This might be one of those things as far as configuration. I don't know. I don't know how but it's only... I mean, it's only one print head. It's not going to be a huge deal. But that might be a good topic. You know, figuring out the config and showing you how to do it and all that good stuff. Need to be gentle, huh? Okay. If you're building the tall one, use 7 bolts on the outside channels of the uprights of extrusion instead of 5. Okay? And this is the point, I think, where they were telling me yesterday that I should throw some extra bolts and nuts in here in case I want to add things. So, if you want to be able to add things later, such as camera mounts, etc., now's a good time to add some M3 nuts. I added 4 nuts on both of the inside channels for each. Outside channels will be covered with panels. Okay, so let's just toss a handful in here. Let's do like, I didn't, Pacemaker Motion Sim. Thank you for the sub. Angel DeBello, thank you for the sub. And Thomas, thank you for the sub. That is a lot of printer, that is for sure. What is up, Ricky Tanner? I haven't talked to you in a while. C3H4 organic? I will do my best to enjoy the build. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, there were tons of Railcore. I have seen a lot of them in the wild. That is for sure. Okay, so front, we're going to do 5 of these guys. This should be a satisfying sound. And 5 over here. Just got home. Hank has to go to the vet on Friday. He is going to be pissed off. How's work been going, Ricky? Are you back to a couple shows a week? Is everything kind of starting to get a little bit more normal? If you don't know, Ricky Tanner is a singer in Nashville. So what did he say? He did 4 on each one. Thought I might have heard skipping. Looks okay. Three shows a week starting this week, so still missing 2 shows. Well, at least you're starting to come back a little bit. That's good to hear. anyone seen your multimeter? Saw it last week. Haven't seen it lately. No way, WCS. Thank you for joining the stream. Hello. So the rail actually goes on another one that sets in the center. These are, so on the 15 extrusion, they're so small that they capture M3 nuts. So that's all these are. The only screws that matter here are the ones that hold the panels on the outside. I'm just throwing in extra ones on these, on the inside extrusions, so that in case you want to mount something else at a later time, you wouldn't have to take anything apart. Which I will most definitely want to put, you know, a camera or something in here at some point. So that's a pretty good suggestion. They do have it in the guide, but somebody was telling me this yesterday too. So I just thought I'd go ahead and throw some in before we button anything up. Thomas Morris is here. What's up? You know, that's something. I think I still only have. I only have 1 meter. I know I still only have 1 meter. I have an old Craftsman Multimeter. I say old. It's probably, I don't know. How old am I? It's at least 20 years old. That is the only meter I've had to replace the leads on it quite a few times. That's the only meter I've ever had. When I first started dabbling in electronics, I used my dad's meter, which was the old dial type. You know, you could tune the resistance with the knobs. It did have a selector on it. That's still sitting around somewhere. I'm sure it still works. The downside was you had to use D batteries. Do they still make D batteries? I know they do, but you don't see them very often. That's for sure. I still have a couple of the old mag lights that are full of D batteries. Steve, what's up? Hello. You have a problem with your Mark III's fan duct? It's melty every time. That ain't any good. You have the Mark III's duct. You have the one that's split into the Y, right? That kind of goes around. Even the one that came with the kit is melty. Because I believe the one in the kit is still printed with ABS. I believe the one that is on the Bear, it is PETG. It has not melted yet. And I have been using that quite a bit, by the way. It's kind of my new go-to print-apart printer when I need to print something over and over again. Building a basement in Florida was very difficult. I bet it was. You don't build basements in Florida, you just dig pools. I think I'm almost done with these. 10 D cells? That thing must weigh like 80 pounds. You still can't find yours, yeah. That's me and tape measures. I can never find a tape measure. This one I've been real lucky because I don't take it out of this area. But everywhere else, all over the house, if I need a tape measure, I've got like, I probably have 6 or 7 floating around. And sometimes I can find one. Okay. Now we have to set the top assembly on there. Four 30-meter tape measures. I know. I don't know where they go. DeWalt tape measures have a magnet on the back. I am a sucker for things that have magnets on them because that is super handy. Anything that you can stick to the shelf or something, that's really handy to have. So that's good to know. I did not know that. That's probably one of the few brands of tape measure I don't have. I've always bought Stanley tape measures, but that's usually just because that's kind of a decent brand that's available. There probably isn't. That's one of the very few things that I probably still buy at the store. Tape measures. And that's usually just what they have on hand. I think it's going to look kind of wonky. Plus, you're also looking at it level to the camera view of my ceiling. So you're kind of in you wouldn't believe how hard it is to level out a camera view based on a ceiling and a table edge and all the other things that are in the room, trying to make it look square. I've had people say that before. You should line your camera angle up with the length of the table. It's like, oh, I've tried. It's not all that easy. But yes, in the camera, I just looked at it on YouTube. It does look rather wonky in relation to the ceiling. Andy is here. What's up, Andy? I haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully you are well. Then it would look really wonky. Yeah, it would. Alex, yes. You know, I talked to Project Red about that beta test. I didn't put in on it because I don't think I could have had the time to test it. But yes, that's a good looking machine. If you're looking at something like a Railcore, look at that new one they got going on, because it's pretty cool looking. The main reason why I bought this one was because PrintedSolid started selling them, and I am not paid by PrintedSolid to say that they're a good company. They don't pay me. Dave does treat me very well when it comes to giveaways and things, so that is true. But I like to buy as much as I can from them because they do good business. They get it to you fast. If something is wrong, they make it right. They manufacture their own filament that is reasonably priced and good quality. I just like to support those guys. So that's pretty much the only reason why I got one of these, is because I heard that they were going to start selling them. Not that I didn't want one before. It's just that this gave me even more reason. Okay, so we've spun around a couple of times. Let's spin back so we can kind of be on the same playing field. And if I bump that camera 15, 20 more times, that'll be great. Brandon Techie Daddy's here. What's up? Everything is going well today. Thank you. Find a space for it to live yet? No, Jason, I have not. I worry about that very last. Andy, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everything goes back the other way very soon. A non-paid spokesman, absolutely. That's awesome, Ricky. I'm glad to hear. Dave's a great guy. He's a very busy man, but those guys are always willing to help. All right. Be sure not to get the Z-bracket top and Z-bracket bottom parts mixed up. Okay. So these are my Z-bracket parts. Do we have like lefts and rights here? We do. So 3 and 3 is what we got? Looks like. Let's skip ahead and just see how this is going to go down. Okay. So we will have one like this, one like that, starting on the left, bolt on the following. Be careful to compare the pictures so you get the order correct. Do a what? Each of these should attach to bolts in an extrusion using M3 nuts. Okay. Roger that. Is it too early to start the movie quoting? Just had a thought of, what's your vector, Victor? Getting all three of those lined up at once might be a trick. Seriously now. Must be a better way of doing that. One down. Use the force. Absolutely. Roger. Hold the mayo. Use the nylock. What do they intend for these nylocks? Well, anytime I can use one, there are a lot of them, so I'm not really afraid of running out. But anytime I could use one, I would prefer it. So, if that is your suggestion, I'll go with it. That one's got just a little bit of material in it. Two down. Batman. There's nothing I can do about it, man. All right. Now these top ones might be even more interesting. I don't know, I can kind of see them better. Forbidden Planet. You know, I don't know that I've ever seen that one. Wish I could Arduino? What is up? I think that's what makes it so funny. That Leslie Nielsen is such a straight man, and then now he's doing, you know, Airplane. I totally put that on backwards. Where did the FT6 end up? It's over there. I've had some extruder problems with it. I took it apart one day. I totally intended to put it back together, and I didn't. So I still need to do that. It has been kind of a tinkerer's dream. That's the nice way to put it, I guess. Speaking of which, does anybody have a status on Folger Tech? What's up with those guys? I can't get a hold of anybody over there. Does anybody have any contacts with John Folger or anything? Because they have stopped replying to my emails. And I don't want to get anybody worked up, but I purchased some stuff from them and never received it. But yeah, the FT6, just kind of out of the box, required some upgrades. Which isn't something you always like to see, but I've kind of grown to expect it. I want my $2. Yeah, I sure would like to have my parts. And it's not a huge deal. I mean, it's like $45 worth of stuff. But I'd still like to have it so that I could finish one of my machines up. Eventually. The printer frame and enclosure frame are kind of all one unit. I think you'll kind of, as we build, you'll kind of get the gist of how this is going to work. Okay. So now we can, let's try to dodge around the camera. Now we can put some rails on these. Sergio from HVAC A to Z is here. What is up, Sergio? Okay. Let's tape this block down before I go winging it around. Let's see, what did we say here? 8 evenly spaced. How many we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. $28. God, the oil on these things. Okay. Guess those plugs wouldn't actually hurt anything, but oh well. Okay. And if you can't see, I apologize for that, but I'm putting the rails, the linear rails for the Z on all 3 of the Z extrusions. 2, 4, and there will be 8 screws in each. Heard some hail? That's never good. Set up Prusa slicer for a Delta? You bet. It sets up exactly like any other machine. So when you have a Delta, I always think to myself, do people actually want me to explain things, or do they just need some answers? And I'm not trying to be mean by any means. I'm trying to get you what you need faster, right? But since I'm live streaming, I guess I can go ahead and explain it. So when you're slicing, really the only thing that you would do different, and Deltas don't have to have a round bed, but that's kind of how they traditionally are. The only thing you're really concerned with is the limits in the slicer. When you slice it, there is nothing different about that G code that there would be with a Cartesian machine. You're feeding the same G code. It's up to your firmware to, when it parses it, to make those decisions. That's why it can be somewhat computational heavy. Is that a good way to explain it? What do we like to call it? Intensive. So yes, there's no difference for setting up your slicer for a Delta. Okay, now I don't remember what I said. 28, I think is what I said. 20. 6, 7. That doesn't come out to a very nice number. Yeah. No matter what you do, you're not going to get. I like them to be extremely evenly spaced, and that's not going to happen on this setup. It's not a huge deal, but it's kind of. I don't have OCD. I wouldn't say that I was a very meticulous or particular person, but I do like the linear rails to have the same amount of spaces in between the fasteners. Just looking to get into Prusa Slicer. Excellent. Well, I'm glad to help then. So let's go. What if we do every fourth one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Close enough. Before we do that, one, 2, 3, 4. Of course, my block is going to be right in the way. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good enough. That shall work. Okay. I'm satisfied with that. $28. Thank you. One big remember is even though 0, 0 is better than machine homes at Z max, also you probably don't want to turn on steppers off. Yeah, those are great points. It's been a while, actually, since I have messed with a Delta. People have requested that I do Marlin config for an SKR for a Delta. It's kind of on my secondary list of things to do, so maybe I'll get back to that eventually. A lot of Deltas you see are running Duet. Mark Greco's here. What's up? I have tried Clipper. I don't have any current plans to try it again with all the new features that have been installed. But I did do an install video on Clipper and how to do all that stuff. But I haven't looked at it in quite a while. So maybe at some point I'll go back and do it again. But as of right now, no, I don't have any intentions to do it over again. There are some videos that things change so much that I will go back and do a revisit. But I don't actively use Clipper on anything. And there's coming up, there's a Marlin feature that does the same thing as Clipper. So we'll check that out as well. So maybe during that, we can compare them side by side with Clipper and just see how they all work. Maybe that would be interesting. And now that I have this one, I can line up all my others. So let's just go ahead and assemble all of these rail channels while we're at it. Publishing a guide on SKR on the Predator. That would be handy for a lot of folks, I think. Maker B3, well, I'm glad you made it. Thanks for joining us. Starting a little earlier this week because I am off from my day job. So doing some during the day stuff, so hopefully I can catch some of the different time zones this way. It's always good to see different folks. What is the best video I should look at that talks about the actual build process after configuring the Marlin code? You mean building the printer or compiling the code? And then I can try to point you in the right direction. This one came in a blue bag. This is the sad rail. Man, these are filthy. After configuring the code up to flashing the firmware. And are you talking about, you asked about Clipper. Are you talking about Clipper or Marlin? You said Marlin before. If it's Marlin, you're probably using VS Code now. So if you just search VS Code, or if you have to search VS Code Chris, there is a video out there that shows you how to get all of that done. So check that one out. If there's a specific problem, I'd have to see the error message. I think my print's done. Is it going to play songs? I've never actually seen a print build complete. It looks pretty good. See if we can get these somewhat close. Let's set this one over here. The doctor is in. Hello, doctor. Marlin in this case. Currently 2137 in North Wales. Excellent. Yeah, so search for that VS Code video. That'll show you how to get it all built and good stuff like that. VS Code can be a little, with Platform IO, can be a little misleading because they want you to start a project. And in that project, they try to make your life easier, which I think in turns makes your life harder, by telling you to select a default environment. And when you pull in Marlin, you have, 100 different environments that you can use. The environment meaning the board. So it gets a little confusing. So what I like to do and what I show in that video is I just select the environment on the fly in Platform IO. I just think it makes a little more sense to me. Plus it gets you used to how Marlin does its configurations and such. Probably not the most helpful thing for, the one and done user that just needs to get their printer going. But if you ever want to go back, that'll get you set up to make it work. Maker B, you are very welcome. I am glad the videos help you out. That's the only reason why I do them. Try to share the wealth. Come on. Still building Z-rails. I know it's riveting to watch. Bolts requiring Loctite. I have no thoughts on that yet. There are a lot of nylock nuts in here, but I usually always get fooled by that at the end. Aaron F, you can. Yeah, I mean, if you're only using one environment, if you only have one board, just go ahead and set the default environment and forget about it. That's fine. You're right. You can use the build buttons. But to use those build buttons, you also have to have Git. And it's got some, and believe it or not, I mean, some people just aren't used to that kind of thing. It's throwing an error that you need something else. If you build from the direct environment, it will know how to go. It will know how to grab the library without having to run the Git command, depending on the library. Just fun fact, if you ever see an error like that. Okay, I'm just going to kind of leave these loose until we decide where that rail actually needs to be. I'm going to tape that one as well. The problem with Loctite on these installs, if I do use it, I always go back after the fact. So after everything's assembled, especially on things like rails, it sucks to have to do it twice, but every time I usually put Loctite on, I end up having to pull it back apart anyway. And this one's definitely going to take some adjustment. As I like to say, it's going to take some finessing to get it where it needs to go. So if I do Loctite, I'll go back and throw some down. We'll see. These are supposed to be speed demons, so we might have to put some Loctite on it. Everything needs tweaks, don't it? Nothing true has ever been said. I often think to myself that every printer needs tweaks. Just the really expensive ones, they send a tech out to do the tweaking for you. That's really the only difference. All right. Okay. Excellent. Tweaks mean 2 weeks. Yeah, it's definitely the camera angle. I really don't know what camera setup I could implement to correct that either. This is kind of an odd shaped area, believe it or not. I'd love to figure out, how to get a little more high end on the video, but I really haven't found anything that worked well for me other than this setup. Plus, the webcams make the whole video process, editing, and all that just so much faster. Okay. The fish head song. I haven't thought about that one in a while. John, thank you very much for the sub. Been a long day. I'll bet it has, Sergio. Bet you're super busy. For the SKR board, no. It has a bootloader. Well, I don't know that they necessarily do the same kind of thing on a 1768 chip. I'd have to confirm that. But no, you won't need to SPI connect or anything like that to flash it. It should have the access program, so when you put in that SD card, it's going to pull it in. It should be good. You just need to make sure that firmware.bin file is all lowercase and it doesn't have anything else on it. Firmware.bin. Chris is here. Hey, Chris. With a good brand of PVA. No. All the PBA that I've ever had has been pretty much the same. So I just try to find the cheapest one. And I still really don't have a lot of luck with it unless it's actively being dried. So a lot of times I'll just get Inland brand and just keep it in the dryer and print it from there. That's about the only way I have success using it. You're welcome. 100% fill, 0 spacing. Okay. Okay, what we got now? Attach linear rails from the Z to the extrusion. We did that. 8 per evenly spaced, loosely placed. 1 per bolt. Yep. Number of holes, bolts will vary. Now you can slide them through nuts in the channel. Don't make it tight yet. We'll adjust it later. At a 90-degree angle. Oh, those are going to be a total pain. So what size are they? They're the 16s. Okay, if you say so. Part 2 of mini. I started doing that with Tool Changer. I have no idea how many it's going to take, so let's just say mini. I'm napping. Thank you for joining the stream. But you bet I am. Ramps Mega all the way. For life. BMG and a V6 on an Ender 3. Corbin Gaming. Yeah, I thought Bontech had all those parts available. Honestly, I was on the same page as you. I know the ones that like if you buy the kits, like I put a BMG on the stock mount just in Bowden mode, and that part was available, but they also sell the kit. I think they call it a CR10 kit. They also sell the kit. I don't know if, I'm guessing that is an SLS part. I think I'm going to do this one at a time. I think that actually would have been easier. You're in the home stretch for your Voron build. How did that go? Everything go well? MGN 9 rails. Dope. It's always fun when you order the wrong one, and then that one took 4 weeks to get here, and so will the replacement. Those are my favorite moments. He's had his surgery, too early to say how it went. Yeah. Yeah, good thoughts for Jimmy. Oh, car parts are a different ballpark altogether. You can never get the right part for your car the first time. I feel you on that one. You know what? We should work smarter, not harder. I do believe. Gravity is not our friend. Well, in this case, I guess it is our friend in, you know, most other cases. There you go. Of course I lost too. May have a troll. Wouldn't surprise me. Nappin's on the case. He's all over it. First you don't succeed. Redefine success. I absolutely agree with that statement wholeheartedly. Poor trolls. Trolls never get any love, do they? At least it having a 15 frame makes it nice and light to move around while you're building. Did that part just break? First printed part down. Well, now I know what they're made of. Man, there was a lot of perimeters on this one too. Huh. Well, we've learned something today. Not with napping on the job. Knowledge quests, we're doing okay. It's, you know, typical. Let's call it typical. So we'll have to get another one of those. They very well could be ABS. Now that I saw that, there was some load on there. I mean, you know, part of that was my fault. I should have thought about that. But, ouch. At least it wasn't Tronxy acrylic. Very true. So we won't get super far without reprinting a part. But we do have a couple of... They're the same on the other side, so I can use those for now. Where's the other one? This is this one. There it is. Yeah. So we'll go with this one for now. I'll print us another part. I happen to know a guy that has a 3D printer. I could print it out of PC, I guess. In fact, I think I even have some black PC. Print it in Ultim. I wish I could. I have some Ultim, but it's really hard to print, I found out. CFPETG, no. That is one I have not tried. Sounds interesting, though. Okay. Let's try not to break it this time. What do you say? I thought lining up 3 was hard. Alright, hold on. This is CFPETG. You know, I thought of that instance when we went back and forth about that last time we did Rails napping. I figured you'd be proud of me. Okay. Well, that is just a wee bit frustrating. I actually haven't landed screws in this part. Maybe I'm suffering from... Uh-huh. Before long, we'll be taking care of wiring harnesses. Now that's going a little far. Actually, you know what? I'm going to look at something real quick. Before I just thought about something. Remember gravity. Amazon takes a month to ship. The Slice Engineering box. It's got candy in it too, so they've upped their snack game. We can do it that way. I don't know if it's any less challenging, but do I have all four? I do. The Dragon hot end, eh? Haven't seen one of those yet. Ah, Slice Engineering clone. It's dead to me. Brian, welcome to the stream. Hello. Nice. It's extremely frustrating. I use that ATX supply for pretty much everything. It's probably not the best way to do it. I've never had any experience with the AliExpress power supplies, but they're probably fine. I can't, I don't know what would be wrong with them. But mine, I like mine. It has been super handy to do projects and things. So I don't know what to tell you, but It'd probably be okay. Johnny Gardner, hello. You almost have to do these one at a time. There's really no way around it. Or the method that I was going to do the first time that looked way easier. Dimitri, I'm doing well. How are you? That's a great term. A Frankenstein of ideas. I like that term. That was way easier. We should have done that a half hour ago. Hello, fellow wrench. Mike from Never Let the Machines Win is here. It is a fairly large frame. That is true. To automate printers via Octoprints. Sounds interesting. I always like dabbling in PowerShell and Shell and things like that. All in all, I am still a very big fan of the Mark printers from Prusa. They're the ones that require less maintenance. Now that's just my experience, but most of the time, if I just need to print something, they're gonna print. So yeah. Cool, yeah, send over the details. So your powder-coated sheet, nothing would stick to your powder-coated sheet. I have not had a whole lot of luck with PLA on the Prusa powder-coated sheet. PETG sticks like crazy. Yes. Yeah, you have seen the distortion. Yes, the lens is distorting it. Okay. So I'm going to have to tighten up at least a couple of these to keep it moving, keep it from moving while I move it around. That's just your beer goggles. I am admittedly not very nice to my Prusa printers. I don't do the maintenance that I should and all of that. And they just keep working away. So I'm still a fan. I like using them. Okay, so that one is temporarily in place. So since that process seemed to work somewhat well, now this one is going to go that way on its side. So that would actually put those screws down. So let's flip it one more time. Okay. So now I actually got to print a part. Let's see what interesting black filament I can find to print it in. I know there's some CF over there. Not sure what type it is though. And there's also some PC over there. The method worked so well until it didn't. And you can see it. It's a whole lot easier. Imagine that. Ben, I don't know. I haven't read my contract, but I'll look into that. I'll ask Joe, see what he thinks about it. Absolutely, I remember Noah Bean. He pretty much did everything live, as far as I can remember. I think he has a few, straight up videos out there, but he did a lot of live streaming, which is cool. Of course, the last one wants to be stuck in the part. After they've been falling out this whole time. Okay. Is there a chart somewhere? Like Marlin, Cartesian rep? Nope. No. I mean, I'm sure different people have different suggestions. Marlin supports everything. It just kind of depends. Riprap is somewhat isolated nowadays to just duet items. There are some exceptions. Repetier, I heard that they were developing again. I do not know their current state. But no, I mean, it's just kind of up to the user what they like. Clipper, I know Kevin does, he's constantly developing over there too. So no, there's really no hard and fast rule for what firmware you would like to use. Just preference. Uh, 2.5 or 3.1? I don't know. I guess we'll just go for 3.1. I know 3.1 does support all of the two boards, so we can go for that one. I think the last time I flashed Duet firmware was 2.1. Now we're at the point where I need my broken bracket. Ain't that the pits? Guess I can go ahead and get the one that isn't broken started. let's take a look. So did I break a top one or a bottom one? I'm supposed to head towards the back of the printer, so I broke a top one. Don't break, don't break, don't break. That only works when I'm getting ready for something to break, I found. I've actually done pretty good recently. I don't think I've broke anything during a build in a little while. That's pretty good for me. Just make sure that's going to set. So they said towards the back of the printer. So we're good there. Hero Me 4. I don't even know what that is. Careful now. Don't fall. Yes, LDO manufactures all those motors. Okay. Kevin Schofield is here, by the way. Hello, Kevin. Yes, LDO. Sup, Mark? Okay, so how long did we build today? Oh, OBS, where'd you go? Things are not going well for OBS. Oh, now it's back. Whew! OBS disappeared there for a little while. So we went another 2 hours today. That's not too bad. 2 hours before we broke something. I'm now currently enjailed by the Railcore printer. So I guess that's a good sign. I think we'll leave it there for today. I broke everything. Kevin, it's always a pleasure to have you here, my man. Have to rewind. So I think we'll leave it there today. We'll probably build some more tomorrow for a couple hours. I'll get us another part printed. I'll find something creative to do for the filament for that. But yeah, we're getting there. We got something like a frame. What's up next? Oh, so next we already start putting on side panels. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So thanks everybody for joining the chat. Appreciate it. All my mods, thanks for fixing me up. All the people that put out tips and the support today, that is always appreciated. But anybody just coming to hang out is good. I should bright pink for hey man, I don't mind bright pink parts. Now if it was like yellow green or something, maybe that would be bad. But yeah, Andy, send me an email. Yep, the llama gets here and then I leave. On a color Marlin boot screen? Not yet, but they're coming. stay tuned for that. They're coming. But take care, all. Have a good evening, day, wherever you're at, and we will probably see you tomorrow. Have a good one.